It's Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. I want to get right into this video today. A lot to talk about. Most of this not in any order, but I think a lot of it is very, very important. Please feel free to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on these articles, what you're thinking today, what you're seeing in your areas of the country, or whatever part of the world you are in today. But I want to start with this first topic. I was listening to Dave Ramsey today. Now, I've criticized Dave Ramsey in the past. I think that Dave is right most of the time. I have a lot of respect for him, but I don't agree with everything he says. But I watch the show because of the people that call in, and it is a real barometer, in my opinion, of what's going on with the economy and the average person out there and the financial trouble they are in. That is the main reason I will listen to Dave Ramsey, not for what Dave Ramsey has to say. Not saying he's a bad guy. I have been judgmental in the past, but I think a lot of what he says makes sense. But the main reason I listen to the show is for the people that are calling in, and the financial disasters that these people are in is absolutely amazing. Somebody called in today, and we're going to see a lot more of this. This woman called in. She lent all three of her kids money to go to college, and two of them are paying her back. One of them has not been paying her back. And this is going to put a lot of older people in danger because this is money a lot of times that they're depending on for retirement, and they're lending this money to their kids to go to college, who now have a degree that are not making money, they're not working, they can't pay this money back. So these older people are really jeopardizing their futures by lending their kids money to go to school. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that. And this lady was, she was really disappointed in her son. She's concerned because it was $56,000. And her other two kids haven't even paid her completely back yet. They're paying her back, but they haven't even paid off their debt. So she's got three kids out there that she's lent money to that she has not been paid back on. One hasn't even begun paying the $56,000 that she and her husband lent him. So I've read, a lot of articles in the past year about parents doing this. We know that a lot of parents are helping subsidize their kids in real life, just paying their phone bills, helping pay rent. And a lot of parents are going to go poor because they're trying to take care of their adult kids. They're going to go poor because they're lending their kids money to go to college. So let me know what you think about that. I think it's very, very dangerous. Shifting gears here a little bit, I was reading an article last night on the fast food wages here in California now hitting $20 an hour, and one of the restaurants that really is going to be affected here is In-N-Out. They showed the number one, which is a double cheeseburger. Guilty. I probably do this once a week. Double cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke at In-N-Out. I know I'm going to be ridiculed here for that, but hey, I love In-N-Out. They're a good place. I think they're a really good restaurant. I like their beliefs. The owner believes a lot of what we believe in, but I think they're a good establishment. But their number one went from $9.45 to $10.15 overnight. I think that's about 70 cents overnight. And so we're going to see restaurants across the board here in California raise prices. It's already happened overnight. And what was interesting, I was watching Fox Business today. Foster Freeze in Lenore, California, just closed down. People went there to work today to start their shift. Doors were locked. Nobody showed up. It is closed. So it didn't take very long for Foster Freeze in Lenore, California to just say, we can't do this, and they just shut down. How many more restaurants will follow? How many mom and poppers are going to have to compete with this $20 wage here in California? And if you think it's just California, it's going to be heading your way. It's going to be heading east, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it works. So really sad. And watching these prices go up so quickly, what it's doing to families in the middle class is disturbing. Strategic petroleum reserves, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to be able to restore or refill our reserves right now because oil prices now, I believe, are approaching, what are we approaching? $86 a barrel? $86, $87 a barrel. I didn't even look at where oil was today. I think it's 85 and change, 86 and change. This stuff is changing so fast I can't keep up with it. But needless to say, it's too expensive to restore our strategic petroleum reserves that have been drained 50%. 50%. That's how much we have drained out of our reserves. While China is stockpiling reserves right now. And where are they getting their oil? They're buying cheap oil from Russia. And they are building up reserves as I make this video while we have drained 50% of our reserves and it's too expensive now to refill. While we are watching disruptions and wars break out all across the world that we're involved in, and we are completely draining our reserves, and we have drained 50% of our strategic petroleum reserves. This is, I mean, talking about jeopardizing the security of you and I, the security of this nation. This is how you do it. We've gotten rid of so many munitions and drones and oil, and we did this with the oil to control prices, to bring prices down. Instead of pumping more oil, instead of opening up pipelines, what do? Let's drain our strategic petroleum reserves, which are meant for wartime purposes. China's doing the opposite. We are getting destroyed by China. They are beating us at everything. They are building up their weapons. We're giving ours away. They're building up their strategic petroleum reserves. We're draining ours to control prices when we could be pumping more, opening up pipelines, putting people to work, pushing prices down, refilling those reserves. We're doing the opposite. It is unbelievable what is going on. Another thing today, gold up again. Right now, as I make this video, $2,320 an ounce. Silver, $27.32 an ounce. And look, this is not good news. I don't want to see this. Some people might be happy it's going up. It's a bad sign. It is a bad sign with what is happening to the economy, what's happening globally, what's happening politically, geopolitically. This is not a good sign. You don't want to see this. We have gold for emergency, yes. We have it to protect ourselves. I don't want to go into a world war. I don't want to see hyperinflation. I don't want to see a depression. This is indicating that trouble is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and it is not a good sign. Peter Schiff, the hedge today, gold is telling us the Fed is wrong. He says if there is a canary in the coal mine, that canary in the coal mine is gold. He's 100% right. Peter says what gold is telling people, if they're smart enough to listen, what gold is screaming is what the Fed is contemplating is a mistake. That cutting interest rates whenever these cuts begin is the wrong policy, and he is 100% right. Now, I don't know if gold is anticipating rate cuts. I think it's anticipating something much worse than that, but Peter Schiff could be right here. Maybe it's a conglomeration of everything: war, uncertainty, rate cuts, all of it, a depression. It could be everything. Just because Jerome Powell raised rates to 5.25%, he says, big deal. That's not high enough, especially when you have a big inflation problem. 100% right. Real inflation is much higher than they're telling us, and real interest rates should be much, much higher than they are. I think we're floating around 5.25 to 5.5 right now, the Fed's fund rate. It should be much, much higher than that. I checked the 30-year mortgage today from Bankrate. It was sitting at around 6.98, I believe, really close to 7%. Maybe it was 6.92, but it's getting very, very close to 7% again. Here's one from CNBC. Fed's Powell emphasizes need for more evidence that inflation is easing before cutting rates. Jerome Powell came out today, and it is amazing with him talking about this, basically saying they're not cutting rates anytime soon. It's amazing that the markets did not crash. I think the Dow was down about 42, 43 points today. It's amazing that the markets are ignoring Jerome Powell. They don't believe him. And who knows? Nobody has a crystal ball. I think if he does cut rates, it will be November, December. I don't think it's going to be any time sooner than that. And then at that point, why even bother? You might as well wait to 2025. But with this news, gold and silver continue to soar. I think it's gone up about 5 days in a row. Correct me if I'm wrong. But even on the news that there is no rate cut coming anytime soon, gold and silver still going up. And if you need a reputable place, people write me all the time, where is a good, reliable, reputable place that I trust? SD Bullion. Go to my link down below. They'll take good care of you. I've been dealing with them for 6.5 years. I'm not telling you to buy gold or silver. Some people might be selling gold right now because of these prices. I think it's going to go much higher. It doesn't mean that there won't be pullbacks here and there. Of course, there will be. But if you don't have any of this stuff, maybe you better get some. It's never going to be worth zero. I can promise you that. If you need it, go to SD Bullion, link down below. Private payrolls increased by 184,000 in March, better than expected, ADP says. Jobs in the private sector expanded in March at its fastest pace since July of 2023. That's amazing. February was revised up to 155,000 jobs. No rate cuts, ladies and gentlemen. No rate cuts anytime soon. This is more and more of an indication with these payroll numbers, the unemployment number, oil prices exploding, gold exploding, silver exploding. How in the world are they going to cut rates? There's no way. Home prices still are not coming down like they should be, but they will. But in the meantime, the data-dependent Fed is looking at all this, and there's no way they're going to cut rates. And looking at these job numbers, I don't know what to believe. We know that a lot of this is manipulated, but we also know that most of these jobs are part-time jobs. And we look at all these job layoffs every day, and then we look at these payroll numbers, and something just doesn't add up. I think a lot of these jobs are part-time. We know that a lot of people in this country are working 2 to 3 jobs. Most of these jobs have no benefits. So we're going to continue to watch 78% of this country live paycheck to paycheck. The president cancels plan to refill emergency oil reserves amid high prices. I talked about this earlier. China building up the reserves, buying cheap oil from Russia, while we continue to deplete our reserves down 50% as wars begin to pop off all over the globe. Here's another one which many of you have already been paying attention to. Bird flu in Texas, largest egg producer temporarily shutters facility after the virus found in chickens. 2 million birds put down. Here we go again. I mean, is it me or you know, all these food facility plants burning down, the cattle fires in Texas over 1 million acres? How inflationary is this going to be? Egg prices were coming down a bit. Now they're just going to go right back up. And what a shame. 2 million birds euthanized. What a shame. Really, really sad. Let me know what you think. The Hedge today, office tower vacancy rate hits record high as zombie buildings litter skylines of cities. Also, really sad. These beautiful buildings, these once beautiful cities, decaying, eroding, just becoming ghost towns. And the longer these buildings sit vacant, the more dilapidated and the more decay will follow. U.S. office tower vacancies rose to a record 19.8% in the fourth quarter of 2023, and that number is climbing. I mean, just think, that's 20% of office buildings sitting vacant. And you're going to see a lot more vacancies coming as companies exit so many of these cities. They're going to go to places like Texas. They're going to go to places like Florida. They're going to get out of these cities. And what is going to happen to these cities when the tax bases go with these companies? What's going to happen to these vacancies? And then what happens to just not the cities, but what will happen to the banks, especially the regional banks that hold the notes on these buildings that are going to just be ghost towns? You can't have buildings right now sitting 20% vacant, and these numbers are climbing. But we haven't seen problems yet, and it's amazing. And you have to ask yourself why. Well, it's because the debt has been extended or it's been modified, but the day of reckoning is coming. They can kick the can down the road. They can put this off for a while longer, but at some point, when nobody is in those buildings, when people are not paying the leases on those buildings, at some point, these banks are going to come to a dead end, and reality is going to hit. TheEconomicCollapse.com, pestilence and earthquakes. Is it just me, or are we witnessing endless disasters one after the other, day after day? You know, we look at what happened a week ago, week and a half ago, with those innocent people in Russia who lost their lives. The Baltimore Bridge incident last week, the Israeli strikes the other day, the catastrophic earthquake in Taiwan. I think it was about a 7.2 or 7.4 magnitude earthquake. Buildings tumbling down like they were built out of paper mache. People trapped, people have lost their lives. It's really, really sad. You just never know what tomorrow is going to bring. That's why we must be walking close to God. Know where you're going to go after this life, ladies and gentlemen. This life goes fast. It's gone so fast for me, and it's flying by. The question is, where do you go after this? You better know. Now, the bird flu in Texas. 2 million birds euthanized. As I said, the fire in Texas, over 1 million acres burned, all those cattle lost, the prices of beef going up, the prices of poultry and eggs going up. It just goes on and on and on. It's occurring every day. Is this just a coincidence? Is this by accident? Or is it something deeper than that? Is God trying to wake the world up? Is he warning people to wake up and get right? Clean up your act. Get your house in order. A reckoning is coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be financial. It's going to be very, very destructive. It's going to be spiritual. It's going to be physical. We're going to see a reckoning across the globe. And I think especially right here in America, because we are really the most unprepared. And we have committed so many abuses around the world that I think our day of reckoning is coming, and it is not going to be avoided. I hope it is avoided. I hope it is. I don't know if it is, though. I think it may be too late. Hedge fund manager David Einhorn thinks inflation is reaccelerating and has made gold a very large position. He declares market fundamentals have been broken. Inflation may be reaccelerating, he says. So he does not see more than 2 rate cuts this year. And he says, if at all, possibly none. I believe if we get a rate cut, 1 or 2, it'll be at the very end of the year, November, December. But I think that it is looking like it's going to be a big 0. Einhorn's Greenlight Capital increased its gold holdings, including $74 million in SPDR Gold Trust, which I think is GLD, and physical bars as a hedge against fiscal policies. Again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You better have some physical. I think you better have some gold. I think it's a great idea to have some silver. Probably the most undervalued, cheapest asset you could buy right now, silver, at $27. If you're betting against the debt like I am, if you think trouble is coming, if you're paying attention to the warning signs like I am, you're buying this stuff. And it's up to you. You can buy baseball cards. You can buy cryptos. You can buy ETFs. You can buy whatever you want to buy. That's up to you. I would be as diversified as possible, but I'd be buying real things right now. I would be buying real things. And one of the most important things I'd be buying is security. Because if you cannot protect this stuff, if you cannot protect yourself, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. I will finish with this last one. Amazon cuts hundreds of jobs in cloud computing unit. So as we are being told that payroll numbers look fantastic, the economy is booming, Amazon cutting more jobs. And you're going to continue to see more jobs being cut across the globe in every sector that we have. So be ready, be prepared, be ready for the worst case scenario. What would you do if you lost your job today? Can you float for 6 to 12 months? Can you make the mortgage payments, the rent, the car payment, the credit card payments? Can you eat? Can you pay the utilities? Can you do this for 6 to 12 months? If you can't, you're taking a big gamble. You're playing Russian roulette. Make sure you're preparing for the worst case scenario. And if nothing happens, great. You're going to sleep incredibly well at night knowing that if the worst case scenario took place, you're not going to go in panic mode. Remember, the people who are prepared, if you or a spouse lost a job today and you have 6 to 12 months in reserves, you're not going to panic. You're going to be okay. Life will be fine. You have time to reassess. You have time to find something else. The person that I'm most worried about is the person that has nothing. These are the people who will go into panic mode. If they or a spouse loses a job today and they have no money saved up, the bills are coming in today. They've got to be paid. What do these people do? They are going to be in panic mode. They're not going to be sleeping tonight. They're going to be, looking out for the repo man. They're going to wonder how they're going to pay the water bill. They're going to wonder how they're going to feed the kids. You don't want to be in that position. So maybe it's a good idea to work maybe an extra day, maybe a Saturday, a half a day. Maybe it's good to maybe pick up a little bit of overtime, maybe take on a side hustle, maybe, think outside of the box for extra income. I don't know what the answer is, but, you got to do what you got to do at this point. But to sit there and have no reserves put away, and we know that half this country doesn't even have $400 put away for an emergency, that is scary. That is scary. And if you're in that boat, you should be extremely concerned right now and taking action. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. Like, share, subscribe. God bless America. Pray for this country. Thanks for watching. And as always, I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon.